Good afternoon and happy Monday to you. This is Frank Knapp here on WGCV 620 AM on this very nice November the 10th, broadcasting from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, hope you had a nice one. All right, don't forget you can get this show streaming live at www.letteru.know.info. From there you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Get a link to the blog I do for the South Carolina Small Business Chamber of Commerce. If you want the podcast from yesterday, you can get it two places. You can go to shayzradio.com. That's CHAYZ radio.com. You can also go to our website. We have it posted there. Yes, we're starting to be up to date on our posting of our shows. We also tweet that out, by the way. We tweet out the previous day's show. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you will have the URL tweeted to you every morning. It also, the previous shows are streaming at iamgospelradio.org. So you can tune that in and pick up some previous shows. So anyways, a lot of ways that you can hear. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And welcome back to You Need to Know. Frank Knapp here on WGCV 620 AM on your down, on your drive home. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me. All right, this segment brought to us by our friends at the South Carolina Appleseed Legal Justice Center. I'm very pleased to have a newbie on the show. He is Lonnie Doles. He's an attorney with South Carolina Legal. I'll get this out. South Carolina Legal Services. Lonnie, how are you?
Doing well today. Out of the office, so not too bad.
All right. So, Lonnie, congratulations. You've been there at Legal Services about 3 months?
Yes.
But you clerked there as when you were in law school for a while.
I did. That's what first piqued my interest.
Okay. So, first of all, tell everybody a little bit about Legal Services.
Sure. We offer civil legal services to low-income clients all through South Carolina. We've got offices here, the Upstate, the Low Country, PD, pretty much anywhere.
Okay. And this is all civil matters, not criminal.
Yes, civil matters. We do family law, consumer law, probate, just about anything.
All right. And now criminal. What you are working on under a grant to the South Carolina Legal Services is regarding employment, barriers to employment.
Yes, we actually received a grant from AmeriCorps and then Equal Justice Works to focus on legal barriers to employment. That includes expungements, pardons, people missing their driver's licenses because, you can't work if you can't get to your job.
Right.
Some custody liens for child support, things like that.
Okay. So how big a problem is this in South Carolina?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. We're mainly focusing on expungements, so I'll talk about that. Throughout the nation, about 1/4 of people have criminal records, and in South Carolina, it's about 30%. So
30% of South Carolinians, adults we're talking here.
Yes, adults.
Have some form of criminal record. Are we talking they were speeding or what?
Actually, not just under Title 56, which is speeding or traffic tickets. It's everything. That's why I'm saying it's this is more than speeding tickets.
Okay. The speeding tickets don't even count for for employment thing. So these are actual criminal. They've been convicted of a crime.
Well, it's not even convictions. It's even just arrest. A lot of people in South Carolina don't realize if you're arrested, convicted, even found not guilty, it all appears on your criminal record.
Interesting. Okay, so and then for employment purposes, obviously, an employer is looking at it and they see that somebody's been arrested but not convicted. That still may influence whether they hire the person.
Oh, absolutely. It is included in a lot of collateral consequences of incarceration. That's what they call it. Not just employment, but there are housing issues, there are benefits issues, there are a whole range of problems people have to deal with, even with an arrest.
All right. So if somebody has been convicted, you can't get that off of their record. But you're talking about if somebody has been arrested but not convicted. Can that be expunged?
Yes, if someone has been arrested but not convicted, it can be expunged. But there are actually certain instances where you can get convictions expunged as well. We have a very complex system here in South Carolina, but certain ones such as fraudulent checks, misdemeanors under $1,000 or 30 days in jail, failure to stop for a blue light, possession of marijuana, those actually can all be expunged even with a conviction.
After you've served your time or done whatever the law says you have to do?
Yes, you have to have served your time. If you're on parole, you have to be done with that. Probation, done with that.
So, and how long after you have complied with the consequences of the crime can you try to get it expunged?
It matters for each one. For fraudulent checks, it's a year. For the in other misdemeanors, it's about 3 years. For criminal domestic violence, it's 5 years. So it really matters just which crime.
Oh, wow. Well, how's anybody going to know that unless they come to an attorney like you?
That's the problem. That's really what we're working on, getting out to the people of South Carolina. We try and hold clinics all through the state. But that's the unfortunate thing. That's why we do things like this, to let the people know.
Can a person do it themselves, or do they need an attorney?
And that's the great thing. They do not need an attorney at all. As long as you're armed with that information, you can go and you can apply to the solicitor's office for that expungement without even having to step foot in a lawyer's office.
Huh. Do they have to do it?
What's that?
Does the attorney, the law, have to do that? I mean, you go into a solicitor's office. Do they have to comply with your request if it meets all the legal criteria?
Oh, if you meet all the legal criteria, they have to do it.
Okay. All right. So, boy, if you got 30% of the South Carolinians with some type of criminal history, and what percentage of those do you think qualify for expunging that record?
At least from my own experience, I would say about 50% of those people have at least something they can get off their record. It may not, if they have a rap sheet that's 5 pages long, maybe not everything, but hey, at least there's 1 or 2 things that they can get taken off their record.
That's interesting. I did not realize it was that, first of all, that prevalent, and second of all, that most types of criminal records can be expunged.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, our pardon system is completely different here in South Carolina. You know, because of TV, everything like that, people think that pardons come directly from the governor.
Right.
Here at this state, it's actually a department, and they review your pardon record or application, and surprisingly, 2/3 of people that apply for pardons in South Carolina are granted them.
Okay, so and now you get a pardon for what purpose?
That's actually, I should explain, where expungements are sealing your record, and so no one can see it. A pardon is the state's forgiveness of what you've done. So it'll show on your record sheet that it's pardoned. That allows you to, say, vote, and it allows you to apply for professional licenses. It's like the it's like the conviction.
All right. So if you're convicted of a crime, you can never vote again?
Well, not in South Carolina. It's as soon as you're done with your sentence or your parole or your probation. And so
then what?
If you then you are allowed to vote. But say you apply for a pardon while you're on probation or parole, if that goes through, you can vote again without.
All right. So again, if you've been convicted of a crime, because there was a person I talked to the other day. I said, "Did you vote?" She says, "No, I've been convicted of a crime." I said, "Wait a minute. I mean, she's working. She's obviously." I said, "What?" And she said, "No, I've been convicted of a crime. I can't vote." So the reality is, once she has complied with the penalty for whatever crime she did, I had no idea. I didn't ask her. She's allowed to vote then?
Yes, here in South Carolina.
How would anybody know? By the way, I mean, seriously now, how do anybody in the an electoral, running the elections know that you've been convicted of a crime?
I'm sorry, what's that?
How do they know you've been convicted of a crime to not allow you to vote?
That's the problem. I really have no idea.
So, is it that she's simply been told she can't vote, so therefore she is complying with somebody telling her?
Well, that's the problem. She can, though, if she's
complied with all the penalties, right? Mm-hmm. Then she's allowed to go out and vote again. Does she have to apply for does she have to do anything? Do you know if she has to go to the voter registration or?
I don't believe so. But then again, I can't count that as fact. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I told her, I said, I think there's a problem here with you saying you've been convicted of a crime, but yet you can't vote. All right. But that is important also. If people have a constitutional right to vote and they have served their time or whatever, if they're not voting because somebody has told them they can't vote, then they basically are having their constitutional rights infringed upon.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we need to get the right information out there.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, 30% of our adults out there are not voting because somebody told them they can't vote once they've been convicted of a crime.
That's a big problem.
That is a big problem. All right. Now, okay, so what else is it? You people come to you and you help them expunge?
Yes. While you can do it yourself, a lot of times there are different issues. They either don't know what court they should apply to. There are oftentimes, a lot of people don't realize, but, we're all human. People make mistakes. There are a lot of times mistakes mistakes on people's SLED reports. We ran into one a couple weeks ago where this person had not committed the crime that showed a conviction on their SLED report.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's actually a process to challenge that where you submit your fingerprints and then they compare them to the fingerprints at the time of arrest, and that person got that conviction off the record because it wasn't them.
Did they even know how'd they know that it was a record, had that on the record if they didn't do anything?
That's the scary thing. They came in for an expungement of something else. We pulled their SLED record for them, and we saw that. I talked to them. They said, no, I've never been arrested of that. I don't even remember anything like that.
That is scary.
It is. It is. I'm not saying this happens all the time, but certainly even for one person, that's scary because that could hurt their employment chances, anything.
So was it a matter of the same name as somebody else? Or?
Yes. Oftentimes it's that, or people with similar names are incarcerated in the same area. Frankly, though, I can't see from SLED's point of view, so I don't know how they mix it up. I've just seen with similar names.
Listen, thank you very much. I've been talking with Lonnie Doles. He's with the South Carolina Legal Services. What is that number if somebody wants to call to find out if they can need some of the services?
If you'd like to call, you can just give us a call at 803-744-9430.
It's South Carolina Legal Services. If you have a civil matter that you need help with and you are a low-income person, give them a call. They'll clear you as, check your status of eligibility. And then some of the wonderful attorneys with South Carolina Legal Services can help you.
Great. Well, thank you for getting the word out there.
Thanks, Lonnie.